Good afternoon. Today I'll be discussing the importance of flying visual flight rules in general aviation. Having 1,200 hours of flight time in military helicopters, I've seen the repercussions of not flying proper visual flight rules. In 2008, a friend of mine was on a Navy helicopter flight in Corpus Christi, Texas. The flight was at night. They were using visual flight rules until fog started to roll in. They continued working their operating area until the weather conditions began to degrade. During this time, the weather was so bad that they called for an IFR pickup back to home field. This means that they contacted Tower. Tower gave them an altitude to climb to, and therefore Tower can vector them in safely to the field. During the time that they waited for Tower to give them their clearance, they collided with a 936-foot tower, and everyone except for one person died, including my friend. Visual flight rules come into play here because if they were at proper altitude set by VFR, they would not have come in contact with the tower. They were 200 feet below minimum safe altitude established by visual flight rules, and they were 5 miles away from their intended working area. Who has to follow flight rules? Visual flight rules? Everyone, pretty much who takes to the sky. An example of flying VFR in general aviation is anyone heading from 001 degrees to 179 degrees, basically northeast, east, or east at an altitude of 3,000 feet or more, have to fly odd altitudes plus 500 feet. So that means if I were flying east, I would want to fly at an altitude of 3,500 feet, because 3,000 is the minimum altitude, and 500 feet is an additional cushion. Traffic heading west, northwest, or southwest, or from a degree of 181 degrees to 359 degrees, that will be at an even altitude plus 500 feet. So I will be flying east at 3,500 feet, and the guys coming west will be flying at 4,500 feet. This gives us a vertical clearance of about 1,000 feet, therefore preventing mid-air collisions. Commercial aviation, on the other hand, usually fly IFR instrument flight rules from the time they take off to the time that they land. These rules are used all over the world, not just in the United States. And you ask yourself, well, if it's so easy, why are there still mid-air collisions? Well, pilot error is usually to blame as a contributing factor to mid-air collisions. Mid-air collisions usually happen below 3,000 feet, and for those above 3,000 feet, pilots just lose track of where they are, their altitudes or whatnot. Anything below 3,000 feet is the same thing. They're not paying attention, they're not looking to where they're going or what's coming at them, and eventually, a mid-air collision will happen. In conclusion, we have learned why it is important to fly proper visual flight rules and the importance of flying correct altitudes. If you fly the correct visual flight rule, you should be good to go with the correct altitudes, the correct direction that you're headed, therefore preventing mid-air collisions. Thank you.